Hey everybody, John and
Joni. Good
for the
morning.
Human Potential. Um, what I'm going to talk to you today about, the topic today is um, learning to follow your gut, learning to follow your intuition. Um, we live here in Arizona, and in Arizona we have the Arizona Diamondbacks. We follow this baseball team, and the manager I cannot freaking stand. Um, because all he does is work on analytics. Pitches is analytics. He pulls pitchers out for no reason other than, well, we have a left-hander coming up. So let's pull the right-hander who's throwing perfectly well. So the analytics say we got to pull him. Or the starting pitcher is supposed to go 90. So no matter that he in the first inning he's got 8 runs, but we got to have him throw 90 pitches because that's what the analytics. But he's getting just completely roped, and they're just scoring left and right. This I can't. So they win despite this manager. This manager has been on the cusp of getting fired every single year. Personally, I think he should be canned. Why am I talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks? Because in life, it may walk like a duck, it may talk like a duck, it may quack like a duck. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a duck. Sometimes you need to hit on 18. When you're playing 21 blackjack and you got a gut feeling to take a card and you don't take the card and the dealer flips over 20, or the dealer takes the hit and it's a 3,
Right.
and you would have had 21 and they beat you at 21 and you're like, man, right?
Right.
I should have went with my gut. I should have listened to my instincts.
Right.
So the manager for the Diamondbacks doesn't use the eye test and doesn't, you know what? I know the analytics say to pull this guy, but my gut says to keep him in.
Yeah.
My gut says to go with this.
Right.
Right?
Right. So how do you learn how to trust your gut?
So in life, sometimes, like I said, just because it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it might not be a duck. Because every instinct in your body is telling you, no, there's something about this.
Mm-hmm.
And a good example is when I moved to Arizona in 1990. I came to Arizona because I knew about no money down buying homes. And I wanted to buy a home. And in California, I had a condo early on I bought. But I knew even back then to buy a house was going to be difficult in California.
Right.
And so I wanted out of California. And this was back in 1990. So we came driving down the 17 because we came from 40 and we came through.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
Down through Flagstaff.
and I want, oh my God. I mean, if you've ever been driving down 17, this is a dump, right? It's
Right.
like, what did I enter here, you know? And I didn't like it. And so I said, oh, screw it. This is crap. So went down 17 to 10 and started heading back towards LA. And I got to 51st Avenue on the west side of Phoenix. This was back in 1990. So there wasn't as much development as there was now. But it was
Right.
like kind of dumpish. And I said, no, something told me to turn around. No, we got to stay here in Arizona. I don't know what it is. I went with my gut. My gut said, nope. So I turned around and found a Motel 6. It was 51st Avenue and the I-10. And I go, you know what? No. And then I called a realtor that night. And the next day, bought a house.
See that? Yeah. That's
Now,
great.
every instinct said, no, turn around. This is where you got to stay in Arizona. My gut, and I followed my gut. And it was through years of understanding and training and knowledge. Now, how many times have we been at a casino and we're losing our ass?
A lot.
And I go, no, let's do one more 100. I got a feeling on this one.
Right.
And we hit it.
We've gotten it all back and more. Yes, many times.
And on the flip side of that, how many times have we had a feeling on the machine? We have a feeling on the machine, and we leave the machine because it's not paying us. We went against our feeling, even though the signs were showing no pays. God, I guess I must be wrong. But our feeling was
Right.
this machine, and we
Right.
walk away, and person sits, and
Boom.
how many times has that happened to us?
Oh, more than I can count. A lot. A lot. And I always say, you had the machine, you were right, you just didn't go with it long enough.
Didn't go with the gut.
Right.
Had the feeling and didn't follow the intuition. And that's my thing about life. I always say people come into this world and everything is laid out for you already. Okay? I think God got us all that is. The higher self has already designed your life. It is laid out for you. Okay? It is perfectly done. Where we mess up is where we go against what is there. Because our brain says, oh no, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this. Right?
Because we have free choice.
Because we have free choice.
Right.
But yet, our instincts were saying, no, do this, do this, do this. I'm going to say this about like college. People go, oh, I got to go to school, I got to go to college. Yet, maybe your gut says, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to go to school. I'm not saying school's bad. But I want to do this instead, and then you don't follow it.
Right. And I know of people who have done that, and 10 or 15 years later go back to what they originally wanted to do.
Right.
Because they wanted to do that all along, and their gut was telling them all along do it, but they didn't follow it.
They didn't follow it.
Right.
I mean, so and if we had mentors and people guiding us, like when I was a kid, like I said, I would put my legs behind my head. I would do shoulder stands, and I was doing yoga, but I didn't know it was yoga. And nobody around me was telling me, hey, this is yoga.
Yeah.
You should really go into yoga. Right?
Right.
And little did I learn later on that basically everything is yoga. Because yoga is to yoke or go within. You can yoga lifting weights. You can yoga doing anything. But so then years later, I started a yoga studio. I was a personal trainer, and then I went into teaching yoga and had a pretty good class, right?
Oh, it was excellent class.
To this day, people still talk about it's the best yoga ever.
It definitely was.
Right?
And is still the best yoga.
And the only reason why I closed it is because I realized that people were coming. There was like a church, and they were really going there to get the Johnanisms.
Absolutely, they were. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, right? They were there for
upliftment. And
Right.
they knew they were going to get it. You made them feel really empowered and good in so many ways. So, when you leave that class feeling amazing, you want more.
You want more.
It was your energy, it was your not only the class, because it's a yoga pose, let's face it, that's not
Right.
it was the way that you presented it and your energy.
And it definitely wasn't sitting at gong It wasn't that kind of
No.
yoga. It was a workout.
Right.
I took my weight training knowledge and I converted that into sort of yoga postures where we really work the muscles well.
Right.
Strong, right?
Right.
And so, but years later, but I had this early on. I didn't know what I was doing, and so someone would say, "Well, you're in school. You're supposed to go to college." No, imagine that back then I would have just went right into some, yoga facility and really learned it
Right.
young, and then you're on your path early on.
You would have had a jump on it,
Right.
a head start.
I think your path is there, and then we somehow mess it up. So learning to follow that instinct or that intuition, learning to trust it is important in life. And I think that's the key here.
Right.
And how do you learn to trust it? You ask that question. So a couple of things. One, through trial and error, you learn to trust it, right? Through trial and error, because you go, God darn it, I should have followed my gut.
Right. I can tell you how many times I've done that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
trial and error, learning to
Okay.
trust it.
Well,
And then go with your first thought. Okay. Try not to overthink it, because when we get messed up when the brain gets involved, and we overthink it. Okay. We overthink things to the point to where it ruins the path. It ruins the process. So sometimes it's just understanding. And I will tell you another thing: how you learn to follow your gut is everything sort of comes down. So like when you're way up here, sometimes that's a lot of headspace. And then when you feel the energy drop and fall, that's when you're pretty much in your heart. And so sometimes just taking a moment, okay, get clarity, right?
take a breath.
But you don't need to do that. You don't need to sit down and do all that crap in 40 days of sitting in meditation for hours on end. You don't have to do that. You can, but you don't have to. Okay? Then a lot of that is bullshit. It's just bull crap. You don't need to do that. Okay? There's a lot of mumbo jumbo out there with this crap. You don't see a rabbit sit there and okay? It's instinctual. Okay?
Right.
An animal is instinctual, and we have instincts. We just need to learn to follow those instincts. And as we follow those instincts, we become more efficient at it, right? We've lived a life of humanity to where we've basically been taught out of our instincts. We don't rely on them. We think we're smarter than God, and therefore we try to overanalyze God, and that gets in our way.
Right. Oof.
And God is you. Okay? You are God. You are the source. You are the infinite wisdom. Learn to follow that thought, and that thought will be your guidance, that heart thought. Right?
Right.
Lesson for the day. Learn to follow that intuition, your heart. Okay, guys? Hey, thanks for listening. Remember, please hit that like, share, subscribe, and love yourself for who you are. Have a great rest of your day.